Chosen one, stop scrolling immediately. Do not dare swipe away from this message right now, because your spirit brought you here for a specific reason. Lock your attention on my voice for the next few minutes. The world around you is loud, but this moment was quieted specifically for your ears. You think you stumbled upon this video by accident, but heaven intercepted your feed today. You did not find this message by chance, and the algorithm is not running this show. What you are experiencing right now is a divine appointment that was scheduled before the foundations of the earth were laid. Anchor your soul to what I am about to say. Something shifted in your timeline 3 nights ago, and hell is desperately trying to keep you distracted. Take a deep breath right now. Feel the heavy pressure in your chest, because I know how exhausting it has been carrying this silent battle alone. Every morning when you open your eyes, the heaviness is already sitting on your shoulders before you even step out of bed. You push through the day and force a smile for everyone, but inside your spirit is completely drained. You wondered why sleep no longer restores your energy. You thought something was wrong with your body, and you even questioned your own mental strength. Let me reframe your reality right now, because you have been reading the signs backwards. That heavy pressure in your spirit is not clinical sadness, and it is not regular exhaustion. That is intense spiritual discernment, detecting a massive shift. Your soul has been working overtime in the unseen realm, while your physical body tried to rest. You wake up at 3 or 4 in the morning for no logical reason, and your mind immediately begins to race. You feel a strange urgency in your spirit. That is not anxiety, because anxiety brings confusion, while true discernment brings divine awareness. For months, you watched doors close right in your face. You watched people you loved walk away without giving you an explanation. You extended grace to those who betrayed you, and yet you were left standing all alone in the cold. You prayed for relief, but it felt like your words were hitting a brass ceiling and bouncing back to the floor. You felt forgotten by heaven. You thought you were being punished for a past mistake or for not being strong enough. But I am here to tell you that you were never being punished. God isolated you because your old environment could not hold the weight of where you are going next. Your painful isolation was actually divine insulation, protecting your inner architecture. The enemy wanted you to believe that your silence meant defeat. He told you that you failed the test because the wilderness season stretched out longer than you could bear. He amplified your doubt and whispered that God had moved on to someone else. But what I discovered about your file while preparing this message made me pause in absolute silence. Heaven has been keeping a meticulous record of every single silent tear you shed when no one was watching. They saw when you chose peace over retaliation, when you had every right to destroy those who hurt you. They saw when you kept your hands clean in the middle of a dirty storm. You thought you were barely surviving, but heaven saw a masterclass in spiritual endurance. In fact, what happened recently in your timeline broke every standard calculation. Human souls usually break when subjected to the level of spiritual warfare you just endured. Most people fold, compromise, or turn back to old survival habits when the isolation becomes too dark. But you remained standing even when your knees were shaking and your heart was completely shattered. You did something that even the angels did not anticipate. You surpassed the highest level of testing that was written for this season. You went far beyond the standard blueprint of human capability because you chose light while completely surrounded by darkness. What you thought was your breaking point was actually the moment you broke the entire matrix of delay. The divine realm set a standard boundary for your trial, expecting you to simply hold the line. But your spirit did not just hold the line because you quietly surrendered your ego and absorbed the impact without losing your purity. You surpassed the expected limit of obedience, and now heaven is recalibrating your entire assignment to match your elevated frequency. If this message is resonating with the deepest part of your spirit, do not leave your confirmation on the table. Type 777 in the comments right now as a physical sign of your agreement with heaven. When you type those numbers, you seal this prophetic declaration into your physical reality. Let the enemy know that you are stepping into your new authority today. Do not skip this step, because obedience in small physical actions activates massive momentum in the unseen realm. You are declaring that you no longer identify with the survival identity you carried in the wilderness. You are aligning yourself with the breakthrough that has already been released in the heavenly courts. Now lock your focus even tighter on my voice, because we are just beginning to unpack what this means for your immediate future. The enemy is terrified because your hidden preparation is officially over. Coming up in just a moment, I am going to reveal the exact reason why hell fought so hard to keep you from reaching this realization. Stay right here, because your breakthrough depends on your understanding of this shift. Let us look directly at the heavy burden you have been carrying lately. You spent weeks wondering why your energy vanished into thin air. You thought your body was failing you under the constant pressure. But I need you to realize that you are in a state of frequency decompression right now. When a deep-sea diver rises to the surface too quickly, their body feels an intense physical pressure. That is exactly what your spirit is experiencing as heaven pulls you out of the lower realms. You wake up between 3 and 4 in the morning, because that is when the veil between dimensions becomes thin. Your mind races while the rest of the world is completely silent. You mistook that intense awareness for a mental disorder or physical weakness. But that quiet room is where heaven recalibrates your spiritual capacity without any noise from the outside world. The heaviness in your chest is simply your physical vessel adapting to the massive expansion taking place within you today. Now I want to pause. Hold something extremely important in your mind. Over the past few years, a remarkable discovery was made in research laboratories that most spiritually sensitive people have never been told about. A team of neuroscientists in New York spent over 20 years studying how the human mind is physically wired. They uncovered a hidden truth. It explains the exact fog you have been feeling in your bones. They discovered a specific physical protocol that can restore your original sharpness in just 8 minutes a day. I am going to tell you the exact details of what they found later in this message. But right now, I need you to anchor yourself to one critical question. What if that persistent brain fog is not age or lack of discipline, but something that was systematically taken from you at the neural level? Keep that thought in your spirit as we continue our journey today. Understanding this physical reality unlocks the secret behind the brutal wilderness season you just survived. The enemy noticed your rising frequency long before you recognized it yourself. He saw that you were approaching a threshold that would shatter generational limitations for your entire lineage. So he set a subtle trap in the middle of your desert journey, hoping you would surrender before reaching this exact hour. His trap was not a direct frontal assault, because he knew your spirit was far too strong for a simple attack. Instead, he deployed a strategy of prolonged distraction and artificial delay to wear down your endurance. He sent counterfeit opportunities and false connections that looked like answered prayers on the surface. They were designed to drain your energy and make you doubt the authentic promises heaven spoke over your life. You felt like you were walking through endless sand while watching everyone else move forward with ease. You watched less qualified people receive the very blessings you prayed for night after night. The enemy whispered that you were trapped in a permanent cycle of disappointment. He wanted you to accept the wilderness as your final home rather than a temporary classroom. But his calculations failed to account for your supernatural resilience. When the isolation reached its darkest hour, you did not turn backward to old survival mechanisms. You did not sell your integrity to buy relief from the discomfort. You sat in the silence, folded your hands, and allowed the fire to consume everything that was impure within your heart. You turned your pain into an altar of pure worship, and that single decision sent shockwaves through the unseen realm. Heaven observed your total surrender and marked it as a historic milestone. The spiritual authorities expected you to ask for an exit ramp from the intensity of the fire. Instead, you asked for the purity required to carry the assignment faithfully to the end. You surpassed the standard expectations set for human endurance in this generation. You proved that your devotion was not dependent on immediate comfort or visible rewards. That is why the old rules of your timeline no longer apply to your situation. You have outgrown the old spiritual containers that used to hold your potential. The enemy is now in a state of absolute panic because his primary weapon of delay has been completely dismantled. You are stepping into a dimension where acceleration is the default setting of your daily life. Stay focused with me, because what heaven is about to reveal next will change how you view your entire journey. Look around you right now and notice how the atmosphere is beginning to shift. The very burdens that felt like boulders yesterday are turning into stepping stones today. You are no longer praying from a position of defeat or desperation. You are operating from a place of divine authority that was forged in the quiet furnace of your suffering. Every lesson you learned in the dark is about to become a weapon of light in your hands. Look back at the sacred records of history. Every chosen soul faced intense isolation. You walk in the footsteps of ancient giants. They were tested far beyond normal human limits. And when you examine their journeys closely, you see that their deepest suffering always preceded their greatest elevation. Think about the life of Joseph in that dark dungeon. He was betrayed by his own family. He was falsely accused and left to rot in silence for years. But those cold prison walls were not a tomb, because they built the inner authority required to govern an entire nation when his divine moment finally arrived. Consider Moses spending 40 long years in the quiet desert. He thought his purpose was completely destroyed. He believed he was forgotten while tending sheep in the wilderness. But that burning heat was tempering his spirit so he could stand before Pharaoh with unshakable divine power. Your wilderness season was designed with the exact same intention. You are not a random accident of nature. Your spirit is governed by higher spiritual laws. When your internal frequency aligns with heaven, every physical barrier standing in your path must eventually collapse before your presence. Lock your attention here. If this truth is strengthening your spirit right now, hit that like button immediately. Do not do it for this channel, but do it for the algorithm. Your single click sends this exact frequency to another chosen one who is weeping in a quiet room today, reminding them that heaven has not forgotten their name. They need to know that they are not alone in this brutal battle. They need to hear that their pain has a divine purpose. You are an anchor of light. When you share this light with others, you actively participate in the sacred network of encouragement that heaven is weaving across the entire world right now to gather the remnant. Take a deep breath with me. Now, I want to close the loop that has been open in your mind. I told you earlier about a discovery from research laboratories in New York. I waited until this exact moment because what they found is not mere information, but a physical solution that addresses the exact root of your exhaustion. A solution only becomes useful once you understand the problem. You now see why your spirit was exhausted. You understand the spiritual warfare behind your physical fog. The bridge between your physical brain and your spiritual mantle is ready to be restored so you can walk in total clarity. The enemy spent years trying to convince you that you were broken. He pointed at your physical exhaustion and called it failure. He wanted you to give up completely. But he forgot that a seed must be buried in dark soil before it can break through the ground and bear abundant fruit for an entire generation to see. Look at Prophet Elijah hiding inside that quiet mountain cave. He fled from the threats of the enemy. He felt completely alone in his devotion. There was a mighty wind, a violent earthquake, and a roaring fire, but the divine presence was not in those dramatic and loud displays. The divine presence appeared in a still small whisper. That gentle voice restored the soul of Elijah. God brought you to this quiet moment today for the exact same reason. He is whispering directly to your spirit that your long season of running and hiding from your true destiny is officially over. You carry a divine anointing that terrifies the darkness. That is why counterfeit connections entered your life. The enemy sent them to drain your energy field. He wanted you to feel too heavy to step through the open door that heaven unlocked for your next season. You tried to heal people who loved their own destruction. You offered pure light to those in chaos. You drained yourself trying to save them. But heaven pulled you away from those toxic dynamics because you were sacrificing your future for their temporary comfort. You felt guilty for walking away from toxic people. You thought you failed them in their darkness, but heaven declares that you survived them. You were never meant to be a permanent sponge for their unresolved trauma because your energy was created for a much higher kingdom assignment. Now your hands are clean and your spirit is clear. You stand at the threshold of a massive transition. The old generational curses are losing their power. Every chain that bound your ancestors is shattering right now because you chose obedience over convenience when the trial was at its peak. The heavy chains of delay are breaking off your hands. You are no longer defined by your past struggles. Human opinions can no longer hold you back. Heaven is resetting your spiritual authority today, and the alignment you prayed for is manifesting in real time before your eyes. Stay locked in right now with complete focus. We are approaching the absolute peak of this message. The hidden blocker is about to be exposed. Prepare your spirit for what comes next, because the truth I am about to reveal will break your limitations and release your breakthrough once and for all. Here is the ultimate truth that no one wanted to say out loud to you. You believed the enemy was blocking your progress from the outside for all these years. You thought toxic people, generational curses, or dark spiritual forces were holding back your destiny. But I am here to shatter that illusion right now. The greatest blocker standing between you and your breakthrough was never the enemy outside your door. It was a hidden agreement of limitation that you quietly signed inside your own mind when the wilderness season shattered your heart and the pain became too deep to handle. You created a survival mechanism to protect yourself from getting hurt again. You shrank your presence so you would not draw attention. You made yourself smaller so that mediocre people would feel comfortable around you. And every time heaven tried to push you into a season of public elevation, your subconscious mind panicked and pulled you right back into the dark. You were terrified of your own magnitude because you believed that being powerful would make you lonely. Look at what you have been doing to your own spirit. You prayed for open doors while secretly holding the door handle shut from the inside. You asked God to release your blessings, but your mind was constantly rehearsing past failures and expecting another disappointment. You became addicted to the familiar pain of being a victim, because being a victim required no responsibility for your authority. But heaven is declaring today that the season of playing small is officially over for your life. Take a deep breath and feel the weight lifting off your chest right now. Let me reframe your entire existence right now. You are not just a human being following a divine plan. You are the plan that heaven created to shift your entire lineage. God did not create a master plan first and then make you to fit inside it. He created your unique spirit first, and the divine plan formed around your specific capacity. That is why the old calculations of human endurance broke when they were applied to your trial in the furnace. This is the exact reason why you surpassed the highest level of testing. Heaven designed standard blueprints for human endurance, expecting souls to break under extreme pressure. But when the enemy unleashed his maximum warfare against you, you did not break or compromise your integrity. You dropped your ego, fell to your knees, and allowed the divine fire to burn away every remaining piece of your survival identity, while the angels stood in absolute silence. They did not expect a human soul surrounded by darkness to continually choose light without demanding rewards. You broke the matrix of delay because you stopped bargaining with heaven for comfort. You chose absolute obedience when you had every reason to walk away, and that single act of surrender bypassed years of ordinary spiritual preparation. Hell fought so hard against you because the enemy recognized your true identity before you did. He knew that the moment you woke up to your divine authority, every stronghold built against your bloodline would crumble into dust. He kept you trapped in a cycle of self-sabotage so you would never realize that you carry the mantle of a breakthrough prophet. But today, the mask of survival comes off forever, and your true royal identity is fully restored. You are no longer the wounded child trying to prove your worth to others. You are a celestial warrior who has been tested, refined, and approved by the Most High God. The agreement you made with fear is officially cancelled in the heavenly courts today. You are stepping out of the dark cage of self-doubt and walking directly into your divine throne room. Every door that was shut in your face was not a rejection, but a divine redirection to protect your mantle. The wilderness was not your graveyard, because it was the secret womb where your inner authority was formed. You survived the dark soil, and now your season of public elevation is beginning to manifest before the eyes of those who mocked you. The enemy can no longer hold back the floodgates of abundance that are designated for your life. Your silence was a lethal weapon that destroyed the plans of darkness. You held your peace, and now heaven is stepping in to fight your battles with absolute power. The heavy mantle of sorrow you wore for years is being replaced with a garment of praise and authority. You are entering a season where your presence alone will shift the atmosphere of every room you walk into. The people who abandoned you in your dark hour will soon watch you operate in unprecedented favor from a distance. God is opening doors that no human being can ever shut against you. Hold your attention right here with complete focus, because something profound is about to happen. What I am about to show you next connects your spiritual breakthrough with a physical reality found in a research laboratory in New York. This connection is going to explain something about your daily physical life that nothing else has ever been able to articulate. Stay with me for this next sentence, because your physical vessel is about to receive the exact alignment it has been crying out for. Let us bring complete clarity to your physical reality right now. You understand the spiritual breakthrough that took place in your soul. You know that you are no longer bound by hidden agreements, but you still need to address the physical vessel that carries your mantle. Your mind has been operating like a receiver with heavy static on the line. The spiritual signal from heaven was clear, but your physical brain felt exhausted and foggy. That disconnect was never a sign of weak faith or spiritual failure. You are a celestial warrior whose biological vessel simply needs to match the elevated frequency of your assignment. Remember what I mentioned earlier about the research laboratories in New York City. I promised to return to the physical solution that addresses your exhaustion. We are standing at that exact moment right now. In 1981, Dr. Roger Sperry received the Nobel Prize for his discovery regarding the human brain. He proved that when both hemispheres operate in perfect synchronization, the human mind enters a state of whole brain activation. Tests show that 98% of young children naturally operate in this state of creative genius. But as we grow older, modern environment and stress shut down that alignment. Less than 1 in 1,000 adults retain that synchronized state. That biological shutdown created the persistent fog you have been feeling in your bones. It was systematically taken from you at the neural level. Restoring a clinical process can be expensive. In-person neural sessions cost $300 an hour, and specialized in-home equipment runs over $7,000. The team behind this discovery insisted that this restoration must be accessible to those who need it most. A woman from California described what happened when her physical receiver was restored. She spent years holding on to her faith, yet every day felt like an uphill battle. After 10 days of using this protocol, she felt an invisible pressure dissolve from her mind. Her daily clarity returned completely. A man from Texas shared a similar experience after going through a heavy wilderness season. He felt as though his prayers were bouncing off a ceiling because his focus was so scattered. Within 2 weeks, the persistent fog that he carried for years vanished, allowing him to make clear decisions for his family once again. Dr. Daniel Barone and his team of neuroscientists in New York City spent years refining this technology. They took clinical neural sync protocols and compressed them into an 8-minute targeted auditory sequence. You simply wear headphones, close your eyes, and listen for 8 minutes every day. They call it the genius switch. It is not a basic soundtrack for simple relaxation. It is not a meditation application or a simple audio track. It is a targeted auditory protocol engineered directly on the Nobel Prize research to reconnect both hemispheres and restore whole brain activation. The genius switch is not for everyone. It is for the chosen one who understands that heaven prepares the mind that walks into the promise. It is built for the person who kept their integrity through the wilderness and refuses to let physical fog sabotage their divine destiny. If your spirit confirms that you are ready to reclaim your sharpness, this tool was created for you. His colleagues suggested listing this clinical protocol at $500. The official list price was set at $49. Through the link provided on this page, Dr. Barone made it available for $39 so that anyone can access it today. When you receive this protocol, you also receive 4 additional tools to support your journey. You receive a guided visualization session, a guide to remove fog-causing foods, a book on internal alignment, and an infographic outlining 5 daily habits. These tools are designed to help you steward the sharpness that God is restoring within you. Every order is protected by a 100% ironclad money-back guarantee. You can use it for 1 day or 80 days, and if your mental clarity is not fully restored, every single dollar will be returned to you immediately. Every week that your brain remains out of synchronization is another week that your divine assignment moves through a foggy receiver. The opportunity to access this sequence at $39 is not guaranteed to remain at this level forever. The provision for your next season is already in motion, and your physical vessel deserves to be fully online when the breakthrough arrives. Please be aware of fake imitations that exist on public platforms. Many generic audio tracks use similar names, but they lack the clinical neural sync technology engineered by Dr. Barone. The direct link below is the only verified source where the authentic protocol is distributed. If your spirit aligns with this message, you can find the link in the description below and in the first pinned comment. Take a moment to read through all the details on their official page before making your decision. Understand this truth deeply in your soul right now. A physical tool does not replace God, and it never replaces your spiritual obedience. It simply supports your receiver so that divine instruction can land with absolute clarity. The deeper current of your spiritual assignment is where we return right now. Take a quiet breath and settle your heart into this sacred sanctuary, because your spirit was created to operate in total harmony with heaven. You are walking out of the wilderness today with clean hands. You carry a purified heart. The heavy burdens of your past are falling away like dust. And as you step through the open door before you, every voice that tried to shame you is being silenced by divine authority. You no longer need to explain yourself to people who were only meant to stay in your previous chapter, because your future requires a higher level of alignment. The generational curses that tracked your family line for decades stop at your feet today. Every spiritual delay is cancelled in the heavenly courts. You are the cycle breaker your lineage has been groaning for across generations. Hell tried to break your spirit during the dark night, but heaven crowned your endurance with royal authority. You are stepping into the fullness of your calling without a single trace of fear or hesitation. Over the next 72 hours, pay close attention to your atmosphere. You will notice an unexpected peace replacing the old heaviness in your room. Doors that were previously locked will begin to open without you forcing them, and what God has arranged for your life will arrive with supernatural momentum, because your long season of waiting has officially reached its divine completion today. Now I invite you to participate in this sacred moment of covenant. Place your hand gently upon your heart right now if you are able to do so. Speak these words out loud or repeat them quietly within your spirit. I declare that my season of hiddenness and suffering is over. I release all fear, all doubt, and every limitation that tried to hold me back in the wilderness, because I belong to the light. I declare that I am stepping into my true identity as a chosen one today. My mind is sharp and clear. My spirit is completely anchored in divine light. Every door that God opens for my destiny shall remain open, and no human scheme or spiritual attack can ever close it. I claim the abundance, the clarity, and the peace that belongs to my mantle right now with absolute conviction. Type Amen or I receive my breakthrough in the comments below right now to seal this decree into your physical reality. When you write those words, you are signing a spiritual contract in the unseen realm that cannot be broken. You are marking your total transition out of the desert. Let your words be an unshakable seal upon the victory that has already been released for your life today. Subscribe to this channel right now and turn on all notifications. Heaven is not done speaking to your spirit. You cannot afford to miss the next prophetic directive when it arrives in the coming days. Join this remnant of warriors who walk in alignment. We are standing together across the world to push back the darkness and reclaim the divine heritage that belongs to God's chosen people. Hit that like button right now and share this video with another soul who is struggling in silence. Someone in your life is one moment away from giving up on their assignment. Your single action today can be the exact lifeline heaven uses to pull them out of despair. Be the beacon of hope that brings light to a weary heart right when they need encouragement the most. May the Lord bless you and keep you under his protective wings. May he cause his face to shine upon you and fill your soul with unshakable peace. May every place where you felt rejected become the foundation of your future authority. You are covered, you are defended, and you are deeply cherished by the Most High God in every area of your life. No weapon formed against your mantle shall prosper in this new season. Every false accusation brought against your name shall crumble before the truth. Walk forward with your head held high as a true conqueror who survived the fire. The angels are guarding your path, and your future is far greater than your past could ever be. Heaven is releasing a fresh shield of protection around your family and your household today. The enemy can no longer touch what God has consecrated for his glory. Every seed of sorrow you sowed in tears is turning into a harvest of joy and restoration. Walk in the confidence that comes from knowing you are held by the Almighty. Go forth in power and confidence today. Walk boldly into the promise that was prepared for you before the foundations of the world. Your wilderness is officially behind you, and heaven is cheering you on every step of the way. Stay anchored in love, keep your eyes on the light, and remember who you truly are in God.